The much discussed OQLF directives to healthcare and social services institutions in this province addressed today in a letter signed by all three provincial ministers, the Minister of Health, Christian Dubé, the Minister of the French Language, Jean-François Roberge, and by Eric Girard, the Minister responsible for relations with Anglos, all designed to allay the fears of Anglos worried about being served and having access to English in the healthcare system. The Minister Roberge is on the line. Thank you so much for your time this afternoon.
Hi, Mr. Wren. It's a pleasure.
Let me begin because there's still a bit of confusion here, despite what is in your letter, which begins this way. The government of Quebec imposes absolutely no linguistic conditions in healthcare settings, providing healthcare in English to anyone who requests it. Now, that sounds good, and I'm sure that's made people feel better, but we know the OQLF directive, all 31 pages of it, seem to suggest that in order to get those services, you would have to provide an English eligibility certificate. Will you or won't you?
We won't. Well, you've read the part of the letter, which I wrote with my colleagues, and it's pretty clear. The directive, it talks about administrative demands, like if a Quebecer want to fill the form for access to information. Mm-hmm. You know, he wants to know how many ambulances are going to a Jewish hospital year after year because, you know, he shows interest to the healthcare system. And he wants to fill his form in English. Okay? Well, the government of Quebec has a rule that normally he addressed Quebecers in French, but he will say, you want to fill that form in English? Are you a member of the English-speaking community? And they will ask some little question. But this is not about healthcare. We are not talking about healthcare or social service when we do that. It's an administration concern. And I think the English-speaking community were like afraid or aware about their rights to be served and to get services about healthcare. And it's important to reassure that nothing changed about that.
So this idea in the directive, they had created a couple of situations. One of them being, let's say you go to the emergency with your daughter, she's injured. You as a parent or grandparent would only be able to get service in English or access to an English person to deal with you if you showed an eligibility certificate. You're saying that's false?
Oh, it is. It is. Absolutely, this is false.
Okay. Let's say you want a test result, an MRI, a CAT scan, whatever else, and you want those results in English. Can you get them in English?
Yes, you can. No question asked. You don't have to fill any form. You don't have to show any document. You can access to those documents.
So I can get my test results in English. I don't need any special forms to get them.
Yes, and if you have some question about medication for you, or like maybe for your mother, which is I don't know, and it's an elder. I don't know if I say it right.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Maybe your mother needs some help, and you, as a good son, you're helping your mother. You have some question about medication. You will get all those answers in English without any question asked and without have to show any documents.
So I guess people would then wonder, why was it, you said the directive is basically for administration. It has nothing to do with patients. It's basically the business of the institution internally.
Yes, it's about business of the institution. It's internally, and it is about maybe some concerns if a Quebecer want to ask some administration question to the administration. But if you ask about medication, about services, about your daughter's help, no questions asked. But if you want maybe to know, I don't know, if you want to have a contract, you want to repaint the wall in the hospital, it's not a healthcare question. It's about painting a wall.
Okay. Let me ask you this. What about a situation, because I asked this question of our listeners earlier in the week, you go to a hospital and you can't get service in English, and I want you to hear what happened to one of our listeners who called, describing what happened to him.
I went to the Pierre-Legardeur Hospital for a follow-up, and even though I asked every single question and the conversation was completely in English from my side, the doctor consistently answered everything in French. He refused to switch English to me.
He refused to speak English. What do you do in a situation like that if that's you?
Well, I speak in French, but if I were in this situation, I think the patient, the guy who just spoke, can ask to have some information in English. If the doctor can't speak in English, they will ask for, comment dire, un traducteur. I don't know how it's in English.
Translation?
And translation, yeah, but maybe another doctor
Okay.
can answer his question, or translation should be available because he must have his information and he must have some answers on his own language in English. And we won't change that.
If we get to a situation where that simply is not available, and I've taken a couple of calls from people who say they could not get this service in English, is your suggestion that they go to what, the ombudsman in the hospital? How do they file a complaint as an Anglo? Because I know that in French, if there's an issue with you not being able to get French, you can actually file a complaint with the government, with the CNESST. I don't think you can do that in English. So what should an Anglophone do?
Well, it's a good question. I don't know all the form that you can fill or what's the what you have to do, but I think it's normal that if a member of the English-speaking community can't have services in English for healthcare services, for sure he can complain. But normally they can have translation. But I think it's the ombudsman of the hospital. But I'm not a specialist on our healthcare system. I'm the Minister of French language, and I just want to be sure that as a Minister of the French language, I'm not threatening anybody. It's not my agenda to attack the rights of the Anglophone community. This I can tell.
Last thing to ask you, I know you're out in the Maritimes today. You're in Halifax. I know you met with federal ministers. You know, yesterday, of course, I'm assuming you're aware of the fact that we had two Liberal MPs, Anna Gainey, Anthony Housefather, both say that they were going to ask the federal health minister to look into what the OQLF directive said, because it could have been a matter of violating the Canadian Charter of Rights. So you met with federal officials today. What was the discussion, and are they now satisfied with what you've said and guaranteed to Anglos here as far as English services are concerned?
Well, I understand that those MNAs are aware. Maybe they are afraid because they read a lot of articles saying that maybe the rights of the Anglophone speaking community in Quebec are threatened, but it's not the case. But I understand their reaction. I think with the open letter today, we are really fully respond to their answers. They're frightening, maybe. Excuse me.
Their concerns.
The right word. Their concerns. Thank you for helping me. But I had some discussion with Minister Boissonneau, who's responsible of the La Loi sur les langues officielles. He was really pleased with the open letter this morning. He said that this letter answer his concerns, and he will do the follow-up to be sure that we stick to this plan. Then I think we come to an agreement, and I don't see any problem further.
Are you going to be having discussions with the OQLF about the directive, or is this considered a case closed?
We'll have a meeting with the English-speaking community groups next week. I can't tell the day because my team is setting this meeting up right now, that I am in Nova Scotia for an important meeting. But we will meet. I will meet the English-speaking group next week, and if we have to do some clarification on the directive, we will do so. It's too important to respect the rights of the Anglophone community when we're talking about healthcare. If we have to change the wording, we'll do so.
All right. Minister Roberge, again, I appreciate your time. I thank you. Hope we can speak again.
All right. Thank you.
Take
Have a
care.
nice day.